one for next Monday, which Scott, you said it's the
31st.
Man, January will be out of here. Thank goodness.
Yeah. Peace out.
Think we'll get spring training on time? What do you think?
Will we get to what?
Spring training? You think it'll happen on time?
I hope so. So that's part of my plan. So I'm going to be down there for springtime, and that's when Emily's spring break is. So it works out really nice. So we're going to do a long trip. Got a 1-bedroom at Saratoga, but not that I'm burned out, but I've been to Walt Disney World a lot, Mike, lately, and you know me, I'm frustrated with some certain things.
Yep.
So I was thinking man, we don't have to do Disney every day. Maybe go to a Tigers game in Lakeland, Lakeland is so close by. How awesome would that be? So
I would totally go.
Yeah. So
I'd even, because I'm trying to say they're the closest, but I'm trying to think who else is kind of close besides the Tigers.
But I mean, being a Tiger somewhere, obviously that's where I want to go anyway. But maybe explore parts of Florida that we normally haven't done, every other day or something, just to switch it up, or just I don't know.
Have you got to do some different stuff? Ever?
No, we never been there.
Dude, it's awesome. You should try that. I mean, it's you can get over there in a little more than an hour. It's not bad. I
also thought about doing a cruise, man, because it's been so long since we cruised.
Because my family really is hitting me up on one. I'm kind of looking at one too, so we'll talk. Yeah. So yeah, we got to talk. I'm
intentionally going to go to Lakeland. Heck yeah, man! That's Tiger Town. Plus, our friend Beth lives in Lakeland too. Maybe she could show us where the good pizza spot, if there is a good pizza spot.
Hey man, that sounds really good. Yeah, I hope spring training happens, because this time of year, that's now that college football's over, I'm not a big NFL guy.
Yeah. See, I have something that you don't care about as much, and that's Spartan basketball. This is when I really get into Spartan hoops, even though we lost last night to Illinois. But still, that's when it really starts. February, because once you get to February, March Madness is 5 weeks away. So games start. The first 3 months of the season don't even really matter, you don't want to lose every game, but this is when matchups start getting really good. You start thinking about where your seating is going to be. So as a Spartan fan, this is huge. So
I am excited because Mizzou women, they're going to have a good run, I think, this year, because we are going to make the tournament, the women's tournament. I mean, because it's just the page, but we're 15-5, so we got a good shot this year. I mean, we've already beat the number 1 team.
Yeah, so you did.
Beat anybody, and we've been the losses have been against really good teams. We've been right there. Who knows? I mean, at least we'll have something to cheer on. I mean, the Mizzou our men's team is terrible, but we almost beat Auburn last night. One freaking point.
And that's what's awesome about college hoops, man. Anyone can win, especially if you're at home. It's so hard to win on the road. That's what happened to Michigan State. It's hard to win on the road. In basketball.
Auburn would have been so sweet. God, I'd have loved to beat Auburn. Just
I saw them take the worst heartbreaking loss ever, man. I think I told you about that Final Four game when they played Virginia.
Yes,
Michigan State was the second game.
There, right? You were there, right?
Yeah, I was there. Yep. And then they announced Auburn wins, end of game. I got people are going crazy around me. Then they're correction.
Right? No, they don't. Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Oh my gosh, that was madness.
That was nuts. Okay.
So we're gonna do the sports talk radio on Monday.
That's what we're doing Monday. This is the sports show. Yes. Will spring training happen? What about March Madness? Who's gonna win the Super Bowl? Please, anybody but the Rams. I hope all the 49ers fans, by the way, buy all the tickets, even though the LA is trying to do everything they can to make it so only people who live in LA can buy the tickets. Please let that.
I think they changed that now, though. I think.
Have they?
Yeah.
Oh, God, please let that stadium be red, and that the Rams have to go on a silent count. That would make me.
I mean, I'm all good with the Rams, man. My boy Matt Stafford.
I know. He's a good guy. My dad's a good guy. Tangled up with a bad situation. I get it, man. I keep telling him, I'm like, I love you, Dad. I hate the Rams. I hope you lose. I talk to him every week right before the game. I'm like, who you playing? Playing the Titans? Go Tennessee.
I wouldn't actually mind seeing Cincy, because that gives me hope as a Lions fan if Cincinnati can go.
Yeah, they turned it around.
But man, I don't know if they can match up against Kansas City.
That's right. Well, Kansas City is not as good. I don't think.
No,
they've been pretty lucky. I mean, that game was just nuts. That Buffalo Kansas City game, that was cool. That's probably the best game. At least the last 2 minutes. That was
the last 2 minutes were the most outrageous thing I've ever seen.
I declared victory 3 times in that game in the last 2 minutes. Because Mallory's a huge Chiefs fan. I was just egging her on. I didn't really care who won. And so I was like, oh, all your friends at school are going to be mad tomorrow. And she's like, shut up. And then I was like, oh, no, you just took lead again. And she's like, blah, blah, blah. And then boom, Buffalo got scored. I was like, yeah, we went back and forth.
Me and my buddy Jake were talking about this. Like, I swear, like coaches and like players, like when they're in the moment, they're not as smart as they normally are. Like they do like really stupid things that I think I don't know if it's the pressure, the situation or what, but I was just thinking, we were talking about like 13 seconds. You just scored that touchdown on the kickoff. Like do like a swim kick or something to get time off the clock, right?
100%. Well, last night in the Auburn-Mizzou game, like we should have fouled. Like at the time, it was the easy play. We were down by 1. You foul. If they hit 2 free throws, at least you're going to have 4 seconds, go down and shoot a 3. Like we never got the ball back. I mean, it's just,
like how Sean McVay has like the pushback guy or whatever. Like there needs to be like the situation person like on the sideline, like telling the coach, like
baseball overdoes that with the analytics. Like baseball
does overdo it.
Yeah, 100%. We should do it.
But like, I don't know how you like kick it into the end zone and give them like no time off the clock, put the ball on the 25-yard line. Like, oh my god! Like,
so I know. The thing is, like, okay, when I was, and I'm younger, I'm older than you, but the thing was, like, you didn't get this much done with, like, when there was like a minute left in the game, like the game was essentially over. Like nowadays, when there's a minute left in the game, it's like there could be 4 touchdowns happening.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I mean, like when I was like in the 80s or 90s, like if there was a minute left, I mean, if you got 1 field goal in a minute, that was a miracle. Like, I mean, now it's like there could be 4 different
possessions. That game's gonna spur because like how much action it got. People are like, we're talking about there. All of a sudden, we're gonna see like 1-minute warnings, 30-second warnings. You know, just
warning. We're going to commercial.
Yeah. Yeah, we got to stop the clock as much as we can so we can get more action in these games. Coaches are going to get 7 timeouts.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to make this game go 7 hours.
Yeah.
It was nuts. Oh, they're announcing Celebrity Big Brother tonight. Who cares? Celebrity Big Brother.
I don't watch. I don't
either.
I am hooked on the OG Big Brother now, though. But
yeah, I know you are. Yeah, it's so Amazing Race. That's what I'm watching. I'm glad it's back. I do like that show. And there's a team from Columbia, Missouri, that the guy was actually wrongly convicted, and he went to jail for 10 years and got out, and they're in the race. Nice. That's kind of cool.
Hopefully they don't do any like crazy waxing, you know.
Any what?
Hopefully they don't do like any like crazy waxing.
Oh my god, dude, that's the funniest piece ever from The Amazing Race.
Yeah.
Kelly Clarkson, not the armpits. Oh, I gotta pull that video up. Oh my god!
Just don't use any Tide Pods on that.
The video of you and I watching that video.
Oh yeah, Elizabeth took a video of that. It was kind of hilarious.
It's somewhere. Okay, so we don't.
What do we want to do?
We don't really have a topic, but we're just gonna roll, and this will be Monday's show. This is how we roll. All right, we have some questions too. We'll get to. So, and there's a DVC. There's we can get to this. Here we go.
Okay.
All right, let's see this. Just 2031. Welcome to episode 2031 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Monday to you. Hope that you are having an awesome last day of January and a great Monday. And we're going to have a productive week. And we're going to have a fun show today. A little bit different. No trip report today, because we had a last-minute cancellation, and we have the ultimate pinch hitter. If you were in St. Louis, you would know this guy is Jose Oquendo. We called him the secret weapon. He played every position on the diamond for the St. Louis Cardinals. He pitched, he caught, he played everywhere in the field, and then he was one of our great coaches. But you know him as hashtag Scotty G up in the mitten. Glad to have him here on a Monday. What is going on, Scott?
Not much. I was hoping you'd call me Lou Brock, but I could never live up to those expectations. I mean,
hey, Jose Oquendo is revered in this part of the world, just so you know.
Okay, there we go. But yeah, happy to start a new week. Thanks for giving me the call. Always happy to hop on and talk Disney with you. Starting off on Monday, starting off a great week. So yeah, let's do it.
All right. So we are promising not to talk sports here on a Monday, even though we've just spent the last.
I don't know if we can promise that.
Show. Well, I know, but I mean, if you want to go back and catch some hot takes on spring training, Super Bowl picks, college basketball, it's all here on Facebook and YouTube. Just go to the page and you'll see the pre-show. That's what it was all about. But today, we had a cancellation for a trip report. So Scotty jumped in and we're going to just talk about some different topics here just to kind of get the week rolling, all Walt Disney World related. But I thought we'd kind of make this kind of like a Walt Disney World based morning show you might hear on the radio, just a bunch of various topics. We have a couple listener questions we're going to tackle. We have some kind of gimmicky things to talk about at Walt Disney World and just some topics. So first of all, let's hit a listener question that I have here that I thought we might just want to jump in because I haven't gotten to it. And it's from Sherry from Dallas. And she says, but she's at the yacht club when she actually wrote this into us. So she was living life at the time. Says, hey, Mike and crew, I have a sister-in-law and several friends with 4 kids. Options of places to stay with 6 has come up so much lately. Can you guys do a quick rundown of Disney resorts that have options for 6 that don't involve getting 2 rooms? I know of the family suites and the values, the cabins, and I assume all the 2-bedroom DVC villas. Will you fill in the blanks for us? Thanks, Sherry. Okay, so she's pretty much covered a lot of her options right there so if you have a group of 6, and that is the maximum for the family suites, it Art of Animation, and also I think a lot of people forget All Star Music has newly remodeled family suites that are really nice and they're great price too. So you got those are 2 of the suites, All Star Music, and you got Art of Animation, you got Cars and Lion King family suites, all as well as Finding Nemo. Those are the preferred ones. So groups of 6 beyond that. So Scott, what else so she also mentioned the cabins at Fort Wilderness. That's another option. But what about the 2? She talks about 2 bedrooms at the DVCs. What else are you thinking for groups of 6?
Yes. So I'm trying to think if 1 bedrooms can do it. I'm trying to think because you can put 2 in the main bedroom. It might just be 5 now I think about it, because you got the pull-out sofa. That'd be 2 more, and then there's like the sofa chair kind of a thing. So unfortunately, because I really want to go 1 bedroom because I love 1-bedroom villas, but that doesn't really get you there with 6. So I mean, 2 bedrooms are awesome. What I'll say about them is that they're expensive. They're really pricey, but I mean, I get a lot of value in them. Mike, I know you and our family stayed in a 2-bedroom, and that felt like a serious vacation. We felt we had the separation from the 2 families, but like it just felt like we were at home all the time, which was really nice, something different for Walt Disney World vacation. But I wonder what and I don't know the situation, but I wonder what the issue is with 2 rooms, because like I think about like a Coronado or something, not in the tower, but like in the casitas or something, you can get 2 rooms. I feel like for the price of even less than a 2-bedroom somewhere, at a villa. So I think that is really a good option to consider. I'm not sure what the reasons why they don't want the 2 rooms, but that's something I would consider for sure.
No, I agree with the 2 rooms. That's one thing I wanted to bring up, is that I would not discount 2 rooms, because there's just something about having that physical barrier that if you need a little privacy, you have it. Like you can close off because a lot of times you can request adjoining or even better, connecting rooms. And some of my guests are confused by those 2 terms. So adjoining with Disney just means next door to each other, but no door that's between the 2 rooms. Connecting rooms mean, and you may have gotten these rooms, I get them all the time, not necessarily that I'm connecting with anybody, but you see that interior door, that's in your room. You can't open it unless you have, a neighbor that you're traveling with. But that connecting door is really nice, that you can open it up, keep it open throughout your stay. You can travel between the 2 rooms without going into the exterior corridor. But yeah, I like the 2 rooms because it gives you those 2 full bathrooms, the sinks. But if you need to, like if somebody needs to take a nap, throw some of the kids over in one of the rooms, close that door, let them, or, they want to watch something on TV, some cartoon that drives you nuts, have at it. You don't have to lock the door, close the door, get a little, and then you can rest over on the other side. I'm a huge fan of the 2 rooms. And I think, like you said, Coronado in a regular standard view room outside of the tower, good deals there too.
Yeah, they're really good deals there. I don't know. That's exactly where my mind went. And then we talk about Coronado all the time on this show. Like the pools are great, great eating dining options that's centrally located. So I wouldn't rule out the 2 rooms is what I wanted to say. Like, I know, like, I love the idea of the 2-bedroom, but for cost savings purposes, like 2 rooms might be more affordable than you might think.
And Vera Mike here in the live chat mentions the Wilderness Cabins for the win. That's one of the places I still have not stayed. My wife, again, always says she needs a food court. So, and I tell her Trails End is awesome. And I could just, take out window, Crockett's Tavern.
Oh, the takeout window is fantastic.
My God. Yeah, I know. So I keep telling her. We could rent a golf cart. I mean, that's like my dream. I just want to stay there, but someday we'll get it. So I'll go down by myself and stay in a big old cabin. So that's a good thought too. Bridget's here in the live chat. So, hey, she's here. She has a question or a comment here. It says, Mike and or Scotty G, did either of you notice that the Walt Disney World Today Resort TV music loop was different during marathon weekend? It sounded like it reverted back to the old loop, less of a host of songs. The sound quality was also off. I missed the loop that started in 2020. This can be considered my airing of the grievances. Yes, we had those last week, and everybody seemed to enjoy those because I got a few in the email this week.
Nice.
I heard the Nutcracker Suite one more. If I hear the Nutcracker Suite one more time, so that is in there.
I love the Nutcracker Suite in that loop.
I don't like the Nutcracker Suite. It doesn't seem Disney to me. Is it a Disney thing? It seems to me it's like Christmas.
Fantasia, I want to say, has the Nutcracker Suite. If someone in the chat, please correct me wrong. That's totally fine if I'm wrong on it, but I want to say it's in Fantasia. But I love that part of the loop. I really do. But one thing I've noticed is that like there's the channel that shows like all the theme parks and like Blizzard Beach and Typhoon Lagoon, Disney Springs, and all that. Like that plays a different loop than the actual like resort, like the Pop Century. Like
So
that could be what it is. Maybe like they're on the other channel because they do play different loops for both of those.
But I do notice sometimes that the sound quality can be terrible, like on those sound, and I don't understand that. That's one of the things that I always get confused by, because I know that it's probably some digital feed that's going to all the resorts and, you know, all the TVs and everything. I just wonder, because Bridget brings up a good point. Sometimes it's like, it's almost like it's an analog feed going out to these TVs, like they're picking it up over the air. And I know they're not, but she's exactly right. The sound quality is terrible sometimes. And I don't know why. I guess
so. It could be the TV. It could be the TV. Like it's a smaller TV maybe. But speaking of smaller TVs, I've noticed that with the new, like, 50th anniversary branding, like, you know, the iridescent and all that, they kind of redid the screen there. It doesn't even like fit the size of the TV anymore. Like I don't know. It's just like they could have like redone that a little bit better so it actually fits the screen, but it's cut off on the right side of the TV. It just kind of frustrates me a little bit, but I still love, I love the resort TV loop, but I miss the old resort TV loop that you used to play all the time for like starting off like Monday shows or whatever. Oh, you should do that for this one.
I know. Now I got two things I got to pick from for this show, but you'll hear one of them right now, probably under the show, because I love those loops. I mean,
oh my God.
That is so probably my favorite, besides the Illumination / Tapestry of Nations soundtrack, which I just, the other day it was 4 degrees and I had to take Riley out for a walk around the lake to do her business. And I was like, oh, I don't want to go out there. Do I put that soundtrack on? And it was just a little bit better. It's the greatest music ever. Okay, so we got that. We have another question.
I was going to ask you a question, Mike, because we're just talking today.
It's a Monday.
So you got Spaceship Earth behind you. Like, I love Spaceship Earth. You know, they keep talking about a refurb, right, for Spaceship Earth. I really do hope it happens. But like, what's untouchable in there for you? Like, what can't leave Spaceship Earth in its current version that, you know, that is just, you know, if they touch it, like you're boycotting Spaceship Earth going forward.
The one thing, okay, here's the one item that if they ever do a refurbishment, I've said this on the show before, like somehow I would pay big money or do all kinds of crazy stuff to get my hands on this one item. If I could take one thing from Walt Disney World, this might be it. It's the terrarium in the moon landing scene, where they're all sitting. That's the scene I would not want to go away. That is such a monumental scene, not only for the United States, but for the world, that humanity landed people on the moon. Like, that is incredible. I wasn't alive, obviously. That was before I was born. You know, I also like the scene with, I guess that's supposed to be Steve Jobs up there in the garage, just because I'm an Apple fan. And that's kind of my era. You know, I was a kid of the 70s and 80s and the personal computer and stuff like that. But it's just, you know, like, I don't want to get rid of the smell, but things have changed. What about you, though? I mean, what do you think? Because things have gone away.
It's tough, but I want to go back to your moon scene. So, you know, I'm a diehard Beatles fan, right? Beatles were huge in the 60s. There used to be a time where you go up there and you next to the TV are like these albums. And they used to change the albums out, actually.
Really?
Yeah. It was just a weird observation I always made. And once there was like this Beatles album, but it wasn't like an actual Beatles album. It's almost like Imagineering just like made this album. Like, there is no Beatles album that looked anything like that from the UK days, from their United States releases. Anything looked like that, and it always bugged me. And then like the next trip we went, it was gone, and I never seen it again. So maybe they got someone heard from them. But
that is so bizarre. Did you know? Speaking of that, though, this is why I love the show with no real topic. Did you know in the Steve Jobs scene that there's an album on display there, and it's Fleetwood Mac?
Oh no, I didn't know that.
And it's supposed to be a nod because what's computer that he invents later on? So it's Fleetwood Mac because it fits the time period, but it's a Mac. I mean, you know, it wasn't initially a Mac, but eventually it would become. So
I like it. I mean, I love the whole attraction. Like, it's really hard to pick like something I wouldn't want to go away, but I do. It's the smell, and like when they redo it, they're going to redo the soundtrack. But there's something about music just sets off really great memories. And on the like Walt Disney World like official like soundtrack album, they used to have like the 11-minute version of the whole soundtrack to Spaceship Earth, and something about like hearing that, like you instantly like go to a certain scene in that attraction, right? And like I just love it. Like I would hate to see them change that soundtrack, as I've seen other things go away, and I'm disappointed in a new soundtrack. But that would actually be the one thing I want to keep. Like keep it the same length so you can still use the soundtrack. You know what I mean?
If they brought back the going down stuff that you saw, like the mom trying to talk to her kids, and like that stuff through like it's dated. It's so dated because. Especially now, I mean, now that Zoom has become a thing over the last 3 years, I mean, that's basically was just,
there's some technology that we happen to know about. Like, how long have you known about that technology?
But it'd be cool to see, like, just nostalgic right now because, that's what we thought the future, and it was. I mean, they were right, but it's better than those little screens. I mean, not everything's going to be great, but I wish they, and they say it's all right there. It's just behind a curtain. Pull back the curtain.
I never saw I don't know. I don't have anything to compare it to. I don't
you
know
never saw like the whole like going down stuff?
Nope.
Oh, it was pretty cool. Yeah, it was pretty neat. Okay, so some other stuff we got. Okay, I was going to ask you about this. So we got the medal reveal for Spring Surprise Weekend.
Yeah, we did.
So you're running those events. So what were your thoughts on the medals?
So I think, Mike, any medal reveal is going to be disappointing after what we just had for Marathon
That
Weekend.
Is true. I know. I mean, it's Marathon Weekend. You're right.
I know.
I kind of thought the same thing.
I know. So that was really great. But I was good with it. I know people are going nuts over the Everest one. I think a lot of people either forgot or they're just not familiar with Everest, but because they're like, oh my God, there's a compass. But all Everest medals historically have had the compass, and unfortunately it always breaks. But it's still a super cool medal though. Like I love the one that I have. So that was really neat to me. I liked the 10K. I'm a big Ratatouille fan, so I liked seeing Remy on there. And Tower of Terror. I don't have a Tower of Terror medal, so that was kind of cool. Has Goofy always been on it, or was that just like a new addition for the springtime? Do you know?
No, the Tower of Terror medal had no character on it.
That's what I thought.
The thing is, okay, here's the thing, because I've run all the Tower of Terrors up to this point. They're always night races, which if this would have been a night race, I'll be honest, I would have registered for it. But when it was a day race, I didn't jump on it. And plus I knew this is
a day race that will feel like it's at night because it's still dark.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Really, I mean, honestly, you'll probably be done by the time the sun comes up. So it's basically a night race anyway, because you can have all the special effects lasers and stuff. I'm sure it'll be the same vibe. Yeah. But this one, the timing for this one's really bad with Mallory's cheerleading because, again, they got their bid this past weekend. So we will be down at the end of April. So it's like it would really be hard to justify going down 3 weeks. And then I've done it, but it's just we got a lot going on. So I had to skip that one. Yeah. But this is just me. I like the looks of the old Tower of Terror medals.
I do too.
Again, when you see them online, you don't know until you actually see the physical medal, but they didn't look as like robust. And the old Tower of Terror medals, they actually glowed in the dark, and they kind of did. Not really, but they kind of did. The writing did. And they had like a little elevator that moved up and down on it.
I think Goofy is going to move up and down.
See, that's cool.
That would be my guess. I think Goofy moves up and down.
He will probably break, but I like.
Yeah, he will break. That's what they always do. They'll be chippy. But my least favorite, Mike, I didn't even get to it, of the 4 was the challenge. Honestly, it's kind of Mickey, and I talked to Neil. We think he might spin, which would be kind of a cool thing because he's like kind of like in 3D, like he might spin a little bit. But it didn't say inaugural anywhere, which makes me think like this is not going to last very long. This is just we need a temporary thing for one race weekend while we try to figure out, even though I think they announced it for 2023 as well, but I don't think it's going to be a long-term thing because it doesn't say inaugural anywhere on there.
Yep. Okay, so Bridget's got a comment here in the live chat. So she says, speaking of the in-room TV at the resorts at Walt Disney World, she says the new infomercial, that they show now about what's going on at Walt Disney World. She says it's not terrible. It's not Stacy, but it's not terrible. So give your take on that. What do you say to Bridget?
I think Bridget's spot on. Like I think that was a great example. Man, we just loved Stacy, right? Like she brought like a lot of great energy. It takes us back to our older trips. Like for me personally, when Emily was 3 or 4, like I remember watching that in the room with her, getting excited for the day while we're getting ready. We had it on in the background. With the new one, I don't really put it on in the background, when I'm getting ready anymore. So it's a little disappointing. But I think what we need to do, Mike, before you answer, we should make our own as like a Be Our Guest podcast. Like try to make like Stacy's and like redo it
in our free time. That'd be fun. Yes.
And get a tech person, that's up front of the podcast, like put it all together, like all our little clips, like and then we can just like when you're in your room, watch the Be Our Guest version of Must Do Disney.
Right. And you could just load it onto your phone right there.
Yeah, exactly.
Apple TV. But I was mad about that at first when Stacy went away, but like that's one of those things that I get. Like,
oh yeah.
With how fast things are changing in 2021, 2022, like there's just no way that you could have a hosted special with in-park video at this point, because I'm trying to think about like what Stacy was showing. Like 50% of that footage, like you could not show at this point because a guest that was going for the first time is like, well, they don't have on masks, or like, that fast pass, that doesn't work, and this, I mean, there's so much that you don't think about how much has changed in such a short period of time until you go back and watch one of those Stacy loops from, it seems like it was from a decade ago. Just watch from like 3 years ago. And so much of that stuff either no longer exists or is in a modified fashion at this point.
Yep. And it's great. Like we can still access it, right? Like it's going to be on YouTube somewhere or whatever. Like I think about the bench guy, man. I love the guy who just wants to sit on the bench.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that's so outdated, but you know what? It makes me happy to watch it, and I think Stacey will still bring that happiness to us as we're just moved on to a new era of Disney and the resort TV.
I love the show. Just sitting here talking Disney. It's fun. Erin's got a comment here. She says, I've been looking everywhere for some advice on touring, staying offsite, while those staying on site have a 30-minute head start in the morning. Thoughts? So I'm an early bird gets the worm guy. Like I am a morning person. I jump out at lunch and I'm not at the park super late at night. That's just me. I'm like, that's how I am in life. Like I get up 5 o'clock in the morning. I try to get as much done as I can. I take a nap in the afternoon some days if I can get my work done. Like I reward myself because I work from home, and then I work late into, I work until like 10 o'clock at night some nights, but I do, I'll crash it like after lunch for like 30 minutes if I need to catch up because I get up at 5 in the morning. So that's kind of how my whole world works. I think that 30 minutes is hugely valuable because when you get ahead of the wave, I picture it as like a literal wave in the ocean. Like when you're riding the crest of the wave, you are so much ahead. It's going to carry you and you're just ahead of the surge. When you're trying to catch up and you're 30 minutes behind, like there can be this is the thing I always battle with Ricky. I like mentally, I just don't want to have to walk into a park where my first choice is going to be an attraction that has like a 60-minute wait, when my first 2 attractions or 3 attractions can be like 5, 15, 20. Yep. I don't know how you feel, but I mean, getting up early and getting there early as possible is such a win for me.
Yeah. No, I agree. But one thing they can do though, I mean, if they're going to continue to stay off site, which is fine, right? You can still get into the park. So like if you're traveling together or whatever, like if you're renting a car and you're staying together, like definitely still go to the park together. And I've really only experienced it with Magic Kingdom. I haven't done it at any of the other parks, but you can get in and they just kind of hold you, where the resort guests have like a different area they can go to. They scan their Magic Band. They let them into like Tomorrowland or whatever a little bit early. So you can still kind of get in the park and be ready when they let all the other offsite guests go in, so that once they do their first attraction or second attraction, then you can quickly meet up with them after that 30 minutes is over.
Right. And I mean, there's ways to do it. Obviously, I mean, there's going to be advantages and disadvantages. You're saving money by staying offsite. I mean, that's the hugest, it's the biggest advantage, but I mean, everything's a give and take. I mean, you can make it work. I mean, you buy Genie Plus and work the system that way and get some individual lightning lanes to supplement things there too. So there's that. TC's got a question about Disney Cruise Line. He says, I have 14 nights at, let's see. Got 14. Maybe this isn't Cruise Line. No, it's not. I thought it was I thought it was VGT. I thought it was a veranda guarantee on the Cruise Line. I got 14 nights at VGF in February. Standard View Studio. Any recommendations on what room request would be appreciated?
Wow. So is this 14 nights at Grand Floridian, like villas at Grand Floridian?
Okay, that's what it is. Okay, yeah, go because I usually GF. Yeah, I go the other way. Okay, good. Thanks for too many acronyms, people. There we go. So
I don't know them all either, but that's my best take on that.
Start mixing them up on me. My brain's fried. I've been doing this all day. I'm done. Okay, yeah. So
we got 14 nights at Grand Floridian, and what was the question? Like,
by the way,
I know that's what I'm saying. That's an awesome stay. They must have banked and borrowed some points, some DVC points.
Like, are you a DVC? I'm sticking you up. Give me your point.
So the question is then standard view studio. Any recommendations on what room? So I'm like the worst guy to ask for this because I will use like other. I mean, you can go online, like Touring Plans does this too, where you can find like room finders where people will post images of, hey, I stayed in this room on the second floor right here. Here's what my room view looked like, which is really helpful. And I'll use that sometime when I really want a request for like a long stay, like you're having here at 14 nights. But honestly, a lot of times I'm just like just go with the flow. Like, let's see what they assign me. And like, I want my room immediately first before anything else special. But normally, I mean, I'm thinking about the villas at Grand Floridian. Like, you really can't go wrong. Like your standard view is going to be awesome. You're going to be staying at a gorgeous resort for 14 days, awesome pools, awesome amenities. Like, I kind of want to figure out how I can get to his suitcase so I can hang out at the Grand Floridian for 14 nights.
And you could at least hang out like for 9 or 10 days.
Exactly. I don't need to be for all 14.
Yeah. I mean, just be there, half the time. All right, good. Okay, good question. Oh, Ella down in Arkansas is joining in. Dr. Kye's daughter there. She was doing homework, and then somehow we popped up on her Facebook feed or YouTube. I don't know, but hey, get your homework done. But she's asking, are we looking forward to the Disney Hay Alexa? Because I don't want to say it out loud because I have one sitting right here in the office and you probably do too. And I don't want to set yours off. But she's asking, are you going to get one for your homes and are you excited to use them at the resorts? So what are your thoughts on that product that is supposed to come in this year?
Yeah, I honestly don't know a whole lot about it, but I've been to like other hotel resorts that had an Alexa and I liked it. You know, we'd play, music in the background while we're getting ready. There's a lot of things that it can do that I think is helpful. I don't think it's a make or break for me by any means, but if it's an additional feature that they want to add for my experience, I'm all for it.
I agree. I mean, I'm very much, again, your dad, Dr. Kye, like he was the biggest fan of Beta Mouse, I think, out there besides me. Dr. Kye and I talked about Beta Mouse all the time. Like we did. We were like, oh, did you hear the latest Beta Mouse? Or did you hear what Henry said? Did you hear what Nate said? I love the merging of Disney and technology, two of my favorite topics. And I'm all about trying it. Will I get one for my house? Maybe. The thing is, here it's kind of weird. And I think Pam Forrester, she talks about this all the time. And I'm going to kind of share some Pam Forrester secrets here. You would think that Pam Forrester's house, and you've been to her house. I've never been to her house, but you have. You can back this up. You would guess that somebody that owns a Disney travel agency, and I mean one of the big ones. I mean, she's one of the top 10 that exists as far as sales and so forth and ratings and all that. You would think that her house is probably all Disneyed out, like because she loves Disney. Don't get me wrong. I mean, she is a huge Disney fan, but is her house all Disney?
No, it's not. You will see some pain. You will see like how we have portraits like throughout our house, and there's not like in your face, like, oh my God, it spells out Disney. It's kind of like classy where like, oh yeah, if you look closely enough, you might notice that that's like Disney a little bit, but like, no, it's not all in your face wherever you go in the house.
Yeah. And that's kind of how I am, like, because because this is what I do for a living all day now, is that there's not as much Disney unless I'm in the studio here, like in my office, that you might think there's not much upstairs. And it's not that I don't like Disney. And here's the weird thing is that before I started the podcast, and before I really started working as a travel agent, there was a lot more Disney everywhere. Like I was like 24/7 obsessed, but I also wasn't doing it all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like I need to kind of just, get away from it where, I might get one of those devices in the house, but like I have one of those devices in every room right now. And I don't know if I need a Disney, like, I don't know if I need I love the background loops, but I don't know if I need them 24/7. I might need a little, I might need to listen to a little 80s, like a little Rick Astley or something. I don't know.
There you go.
Never going to give you up, but I don't know. It's just one of those things. It's kind of funny, like where you are. Scott's got a funny question here. I love Scott here in the live chat. How much is the max you would pay for a popcorn bucket? A Disney Cardinals and a Disney Michigan State popcorn bucket. What's your, I mean, seriously though, like they're $25 right now with popcorn. I mean, to me, okay, this is breaking news. I think that's a fair price for these collectors' popcorn buckets.
I agree.
I don't think Disney's fleecing anybody. Now, if you want to go buy them on the reseller market because you can't get to them, that's craziness. Like $600. No,
but if they got like a Sparty with mouse ears, popcorn bucket, maybe like you hit a button and it has like a little audio too. He's like, "Go green, go white," like in a Mickey voice or something. Like I might pay double the price for that. I might pay 50 for that.
Yeah, I think 50 would be about my max. But I mean, like I've only bought a few of them. I've bought like the white Christmas tree that looks like it lit up and it kind of looks like a ceramic Christmas tree.
Yeah.
So
we have a few. We have a few because I kind of like we have the exact one you were just talking about, and it makes for a great decoration at Christmas time. Like we just kind of put it on the bookshelf by the mantle, and it just looks pretty. And then Christmas is over. What do? We swap it out for a different one. Like we have the 50th. We have a couple of the 50th anniversary ones with like the balloon ones. Like they just sit nice on a bookshelf in the office. It's just like a nice little decoration. When I buy it, like I'm not saying like, oh man, because I know your family, Mike, and Emily's kind of like this too. Like they just love the popcorn, right? They want to really get the popcorn bucket for the refills. I just want it for a decoration in the house.
So here's just kind of a semi like lukewarm take, but even if you don't get like the collector's $25, Millennium Falcon or the Christmas tree or the Figment, the regular like refillable popcorn bucket, which is just like a bucket. Those things have pretty cool graphics on them too. They didn't have like these super special collectibles. I would be excited to collect those, but I think nobody even thinks to collect those.
Right. So we actually collect some of those too, because as you know, like with Pam and her family, like we've been to Hilton Head a couple times, and we've rented houses out there, and we've gone to Disney's Hilton Head property, and they sell the Hilton Head themed popcorn buckets over there. I'm like, oh man, this is cool, add it to the collection. And we'll use them too. Like I know you don't go to the movies very often, but we'll take them to the movie theater. Like we'll buy the popcorn there.
How do you bring it? We always sneak.
So we'll buy the popcorn there, and then like we'll disperse it into our own buckets. Because I want to put cheese on mine. Elizabeth wants to put extra butter on hers or whatever. So like we try to use them in our not date. I mean, it's not like a daily thing when we go to the movies, but we try to get better use out of them at home.
That's a good idea. All right, let's see. Oh, and Lisa says she left her Steamboat Willie popcorn bucket.
Oh no!
Somebody sat down and got a Steamboat Willie. Lisa,
you know what I did at work? So during like Food and Wine or whatever, like it was like it's always like a Remy themed lately, and our family loves Ratatouille. It's our favorite movie. So I got like this tumbler or whatever, like this Remy themed water bottle, like very special 2021 Food and Wine or whatever. Took it to work, and I don't drink water very often, but I'm drinking water at work. I go to the restroom, and I don't want to take him to the restroom, so I put it like on the water fountain outside the restroom,
Yeah.
And I just go back to my desk, completely forget about it. Next day, it's gone. And like I go to security, they're like, "Nah, man, we've never seen it. Like someone is just stealing my water bottles." Like, this happened twice to me. Twice.
I'm looking at the tapes. Show me the
exactly. Yeah, come on now. Someone's selling this on eBay, man. Like I got to know who it is.
Who in here?
It's the worst though when you leave or lose like a souvenir, especially like one that's a collector one. Yep, exactly.
The worst. Oh my gosh, you need to just see. I would not be able to let something like that go. Every time I walk out, because you work in a place like where you have cubicles, right? So yep. I never worked in a place like that. I worked in a school.
But I was scoping out everyone's cubicle.
And every teacher's like, I'd be peeking at every teacher's classroom, just like checking out their desk. I'd be like, even like the ones that are like squeaky clean. I'd be like, you know what? I never thought you'd be taking my water bottle.
If they were smart, they just took it home.
Exactly, 100%. All right, here. Let's see. Vera Mike has a question. We did Space 220 during Christmas and we're blown away. Have you guys been? Thoughts? Have you been in Space?
This is all you, man. I have not been.
So I have been, and I was kind of blown away. It's an experience more than the meal. The food was good, but again, I'm not a fancy food guy. It's expensive. But it's the way I see it is it's like dinner and a movie. It's like going to Hoop-de-Doo Review or like going to the Polynesian when they had the luau. Like you're getting good food and entertainment at the same time. It's something, it's like Coral Reef on steroids, basically, because you get you get to watch the fish. Yeah. Well, instead of seeing the fish, you get to watch this projected space situation. But
I'm glad you said that, because like I have not been, but when I look at photos from blogs or whatnot, like Coral Reef is the exact vibe I'm getting every time I see a photo of in there. Because is it leveled? Is there like tiered seating, like where it kind of
okay. It's almost like stadium seating, like levels. And it's
cool. We don't talk about Coral Reef enough on the show, I'm thinking. And I'll tell you, like, I've had a couple bad experiences there, but like it gets overlooked. And I think it's because there's so many great restaurants, right, at Epcot and World Showcase. Like, don't ever put down Coral Reef, because like what you were just saying, like the entertainment in there, like it's just a cool atmosphere that I think everyone should I didn't think I was going to have a coral reef rant today, but there we go. Breaking news from Scotty G.
No, and here's the thing. I think every Disney fan should go to Space 220. Here's the thing, though. I don't think you need to go back to Space 220 again frequently. I think that it's not necessarily a one and done. And you're talking to a guy who taught at Space Camp. Like, I have grown up. I've helped open a Challenger Learning Center in St. Louis. I mean, I am all in with NASA. I mean, that was like my passion as a kid, and that was what I taught. I taught space science. I love it. You know, that's besides Disney, it's one of my big passions in sports. And I thought it was super cool. I mean, it was definitely immersive, but it's not a place like that I need to go every trip. Now, I would go for, like, you know, if Pam asked me, like, okay, it's our 20th wedding anniversary, we're going to really splurge, I might want to go there again then in 5 years. But that's the thing, is like, once you've gone on the space elevator, and once you've, you know, seen all the, you know, looking out into space from the perceived space station, and the food was really good. I mean, you might want to go for the food. The food's food to me. Like, even fancy food, like, it doesn't get me super excited. Like, I'm just as good with a Texas Roadhouse steak as a Space 220 steak. And I know that's heresy for a lot of people, but that's
that's insane.
It doesn't bother me. Seriously, that's totally fine. That's the same to me. But the thing is, like, I've seen it now, so I've gotten the experience. It was really, really cool. Don't get me wrong, but I'm probably good for the next 5 years at that price. You know what I'm saying? It's just one of those things. Like, I think it's a special occasion place. I wonder how many people thought, like, okay, this is going to be so cool, I got to do it like every year or like every 6 months. I don't know what you have.
Do you think the popularity will, like, die on it? Because, like, I'm not seeking it out by any means, but every time I go to make an ADR, I don't think I've ever seen it available one time in my life. You know, so do you think everyone's trying to get their first time in there, right? And then do you think it's going to just, like, not be as popular?
I think the problem is right now is that the popularity, I think it is right now, because I mean, there's such a small percentage of people that have been there. It's going to be hot for years, because there's so many people that it's the newest, hottest thing. So it's like Homecoming. I mean, Homecoming's been open for years, but there's still 95% of the people have never been, and it's still the hotness, right? People want to get in. You know, it's also the location. I mean, it's Future World, it's Epcot. There's not a lot of choices there, and it's an experience. But also, I think that we haven't talked about Space 220 probably in 2 months. And I think the reason it's kind of slightly falling off the radar is because it is such a challenge to get an ADR, that I think a lot of people have kind of been like, it's just impossible, I'm giving up on it.
Yeah. And there could be mixed reviews. Like, I'm not really seeking out reviews very often, but there could be mixed reviews that keeping people away, or the pricing. Because I remember, I mean, it was a running joke for a while on the show, right? But, like, that was like your hottest question for a while, right? Like, man, how can I get into Space 220? Now I'm curious about, I don't know if you talked about this on the show yet. Like, I want to try, like, the place in Toy Story Land that's going to be coming out. Like, I'm excited for that. How about you?
Yeah. So let's talk about that. So we're getting two new things, but, you know, the big thing's Woody's Barbecue coming to Toy Story Land, which I think is going to be just a huge hit. And again, speaking to a Midwestern guy, when you say barbecue joint in Toy Story Land, Toy Story is one of my favorite Disney movies. Buzz and Woody are my favorite Disney characters, Buzz especially. I just think that land screams for, it needs dining. I mean, Woody's lunchbox is pretty cool, but it's outside. It's just a window. You know, it's like the bare minimum they had to have to open a land, right? I mean, they had to have some kind of food, and that kind of, like, what's the minimum we can do? This is it. Having a sit-down table service restaurant. Now, here's the thing, I think they're missing their mark. And I know we're in weird times. This is like a 75%, and we don't know what it's going to be like. They say it's opening in 2022, maybe this summer, which means it's far along, which shocks me. So it could be opening in the next, 3-4 months, hopefully, probably in the fall, I would guess. But here's the thing. I mean, I've said this forever. Like, if they went in with a character meal, with the Toy Story characters, printing money. I mean, you talk about Space 220, you could charge well more than Space 220, and this place would be impossible to get.
The barbecue doesn't even need to be barbecue.
You could serve KC Masterpiece, which is the stuff you buy at the grocery store here. It's like chipped beef, and you just throw it on the stove. It wouldn't matter. I mean, this place would just constantly be sold out, and you could charge. You think Chef Mickey's is expensive? It'd be nuts. That's what I think. But I mean, what we're going to get, I'm happy with.
Yeah, I'm happy for it too. Just anytime we get some new options, like the studios can be a tricky place to find dining sometimes. It's kind of small, it's crowded. We end up eating that you know me, like I love like table service dining, but very rarely am I able to get an ADR for table service dining at the studios, and I end up at our new favorite, the ABC commissary, most of the time.
Right. Okay, let me ask you, speaking of table service dining though, say somebody's going down for Princess like you are, and they're still looking for like a sleeper hit that you've experienced maybe at marathon weekend or recently, because you've been in, a few times the last year. Where's a place that's off the beaten path that maybe somebody could still get an ADR to that you think is quality that maybe they're not thinking about?
So one I really like, and we went there, and I tend to see it available quite often. And I know we talked about it might not be off the hidden path, but like Grand Floridian Cafe, I think is a really great option, especially if you're going to spend some time at the Magic Kingdom. It's close by. And what I really like it for lunch, because they have like a breakfast / lunch menu, like a brunch menu, basically. So if part of your group just wants, some sweet, or someone wants some savory, like you have those options. Like Mike, you and I mean, we wake up kind of early during marathon weekend. So like, 10 a.m. we're ready for lunch basically. But like you and I, we always get like that lobster burger, which is awesome. But you can also get a waffle or pancakes at the same time. So I think that's always a really good option, especially for runners during a race weekend.
I agree. And I think too that it's just nice, especially with the Magic Kingdom. The Magic Kingdom is obviously it's kind of the headquarters of all the Walt Disney World theme parks. It's the main theme park. But I mean, even for adults, it is just overstimulating. I mean, there's so many sounds. There's always a background loop playing. There's, always a horn honking on a omnibus, or, the clip clop of the horse's hooves, or, whatever. There's always some kind of a sound. There's smells. There's the other guests, moving past you. It's an overstimulating environment, which is fun. But Pam has said this again, she's more in tune to this than I am, that it's so nice after say 3, 4, 5 hours in a theme park like that to walk out of the front of that park, especially the Magic Kingdom, hop on one of those resort launches, go over to the Grand Floridian Cafe, or go over to Geyser Point on a boat, or, go over to Captain Cook's at the Polynesian and just chill, just have like 90 minutes of good food where it's not in a theme park. You can kind of chill out and then go back and just kind of reset. And that's a great Grand Floridian.
I do that all the time with Magic Kingdom. And one of my hacks, I guess, like, I don't know, or my go-to is like, obviously Grand Floridian Cafe for table service is a great option, but like, I love going to Gasparillo just to do counter service. Like, you leave the Magic Kingdom 1 o'clock in the afternoon, get away from the heat and the crowds and the noise. You hop on the boat, because the boat is the best way, in my opinion. And, you just make your mobile order right then, or while you're waiting in line for the boat. Like, you can make your mobile order. You go there, you sit in the air conditioning, or you can even sit outside and you're staring at Cinderella's castle. Like, the view from that counter service is like, it's got to be the best view from like a resort counter service out there. Like, you're staring right at the castle.
That's where
the Grand One is like right there too, which is kind of neat.
That's actually, I sat right there and saw that's where I saw my last view of Happily Ever After with the girls when I was down for the media cruise. We didn't have theme park. Well, I had an annual pass, but they didn't have tickets, and I wasn't going to pay to go into the park for like a couple hours. And so we were staying there, and we got burgers that night for dinner at Gasparilla's, and the girls got ice cream for dessert. And Mallory really loved Happily Ever After. Paige, it's hard to ever read her, but I was like, we're sitting right here. I'm with you two. Like, I'm with my 2 daughters. You're gonna do this for your dad. I'm bringing you on a cruise. You're gonna watch this with me. This is important to me. And they gave in to old dad, and it was just and it was a great view. Like, at first I was kind of like, God, it's the last time I'm gonna see Happily Ever After. Mike, don't be cheap. Just pay the $250 or whatever it's gonna cost. You know what? It was better because they played the music right there, and it was just, and there were
I prefer those. I mean, me, I'm the California guy, like a California grill guy. I go there all the time. Just for the food, obviously, but I love the firework viewing from outside of the parks. Like, I mean, Topolino's, when we were there, like, we didn't go outside, but like Harmonious was like really awesome from the table that we were sitting at, like, because you're not in the crowd. Like, sometimes you just need new perspectives. I mean, I know it's awesome, like being surrounded by hundreds of people, thousands of people, like you're right there, it's right in your face. But sometimes it's nice to be back, back a ways,
Sometimes it's nice to not be surrounded by hundreds of
exactly. Sometimes you need a break. You can actually like have a conversation during the show and just like, I don't know, relax and have a burger or a shake or something. Like, how awesome is that?
I mean, it's a thing too, is as Disney fans, and we're going to wrap this up because we are going a little long, but the thing is, I say this a lot, like for the folks that listen to our show, many of us are very, very fortunate that we get to go to Walt Disney World more than most, or get to go to Disneyland or cruises, whatever. We get to see the Disney destinations more than most. And I think the thing that we have to remember is that to keep things from getting slightly stale is to try to see Disney in different ways when you get the opportunity. And I think that's what's fun for me is when I go in the summer, it's strictly as a family vacation. Like I don't have any other goals other than just going to the pool, going to the parks, having fun with my kids. But then, I also get to go down and have race weekends like with you and your family and all the lizards. And that's really different because we were there for 5 days for Marathon Weekend. I think I went on 3 attractions the entire time. One of them was Tom Sawyer Island, which is a terrible.
All I did was Tom Sawyer Island and Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. Those are the only 2 things I did in a park.
So I did Mickey and Minnie's. I did Rise. I did Tom Sawyer. Oh, I did the mine train. I didn't do Mine Train. I did
People Mover.
People Mover. Yes, I might have done 4. Yeah, that was the worst. You were the one that said it. You're like, what do we do? It was the Saturday after the half marathon before we had to run the full marathon on a hot Sunday. Right. And we're walking around Tom Sawyer Island.
This man could read my body language though. Cause like we were there, like we walked around, we climbed all the caves and did all this stuff. And like, I get a text, like when he's at the bus stop and like, I'm in the car or whatever. He's like, man, I'm so sorry about that.
Yeah, I was
like you could tell, like I was like, man, why are we doing this?
Because you'd never been to Tom Sawyer Island, right?
No, I've been there. It was Beth hadn't been there, but she didn't care regardless. We were just trying to find something to do because it was so crowded.
And I'm like, Tom Sawyer Island probably won't be crowded. I'm like, let's just go over there.
Well, I kind of wanted to sit in our rocking chair, but I knew we weren't going to find an available rocking chair. When the crowd is that busy. When the park's that busy.
As soon as we got over there, you uttered the words. You were exactly right. You're like, what are we doing? Like.
Yeah,
we're on Tom Sawyer Island. We just ran a half marathon. There's going to be like a heat warning tomorrow. We got to run 26 miles, like in 18 hours or so. Yeah. And what do we do on Tom Sawyer Island? Well, we walk around a lot, go over these unsteady bridges, jump out of caves, climb stairs.
Yeah. And then when you get there, you got to stand on the raft, which is fun, but like it's just.
We don't come. We're together. Our ideas are not always the greatest, but they're always fun.
We should have just done the tree house after that, and just.
That's what I kept lobbying for, but it never came to pass. We should have gone to Publix and got another pub sub, to be honest.
Yeah, there we go.
Anyway, all right, that's gonna do it. We're already time's up. So kind of a fun show. Not really kind of what it didn't have a set of rails.
No structure, but yeah, it was good.
It was just hanging out, talking Disney. Good stuff.
Yeah, I liked it. Yeah. No real trip report, but always had the conversation going. Appreciate everyone in the chat, though, too, throwing out some questions that helped, too. But thanks for having me on today, Mike.
All righty. Well, hey, don't forget, today's show is always brought to you by Tide Pods. If you need to smell nice and fresh in your laundry, Tide. No, just kidding.
Nice. Those are good, man. Like I like to put a couple in the washer. Gets my underwear, socks, everything nice and clean. So good deal.
Keep them in your running sneakers.
That's right.
We'll keep you on fire. All right. Also, today's show is brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. Check them out for all your Disney trip planning needs. We'll let them help you plan that trip. I'm ready, standing by here on a Monday. Just drop by the magicforless.com. While you're there, fill out that quote form. You want to head to Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Disney Cruise on Adventures by Disney. We are standing by. Again, check them out today over at themagicforless.com. Shout out to Len in the live chat. He told me today that he uses our Amazon affiliate link so often that when he just types in like be our, boom, the link pops up automatically in his window. And I appreciate that so very much. And also to Jennifer, hopefully the chickens are doing well. All you folks that use the link, thank you so much. Those little purchases add up and it helps us so much. Again, beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. And of course, thank you to our patrons who support the show once a month there on Patreon. Our patrons get a bonus show called Mike in the Midwest every week. Just join us over there, patreon.com/beourguestpodcast. Give Scott a follow on the Instagram and Twitter. He'll be heading down to Princess here shortly. So give him a follow at @Epscott, EPSCOT. Also at Palm Trees of Disney. That's still there. If you're cold and need some great pictures, check that out too. Of course, I'm at Be Our Guest Mike on Instagram and Twitter. Give me a follow. Would love to talk to you over there. And you can follow the show at Be Our Guest Pod. Subscribe to the show on Facebook and YouTube so you know when we go live. You can join us and chat with us as we broadcast live here on those channels as well. And we would also love a rating and a review on Apple Podcasts, wherever you get the show. It really does help us out. And also, I want to send a shout out to the folks over at medium.com. This week, we got a very, very nice mention in their article on the best podcasts of 2021. And this was kind of shocking. Dr. Kye passed this article along to me. I read some Medium articles. I had not seen this one quite yet. Excuse me. And we were mentioned in there with like big shows like CNN and NPR shows and ESPN and MLB Network. And I'm just like, Rolling Stone and, be our guest podcast. I was like, what?
That's awesome.
I immediately sent that to my dad.
Congratulations to you, Ricky and Pam, man. Nice work.
And you and our listeners. It's all about our community. And we get together. I mean, every Monday show, except for today, every Monday show is about our listeners coming on and listener questions on Wednesdays and the call.
Those are some of my favorite episodes to listen to. I love hearing the trip reports from other guests all over not even the country, all over the world. Sometimes you get, people outside of the United States on there. So it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, same. And so we hope you enjoyed today's show. We know it's a little bit different, but just give us some feedback on the social media. Did you like it? We just kind of hung out and did a little morning show kind of thing to get you out the door and down the road. So we'll be back again on Wednesday with more of your listener questions. But until then, for Scott, this is Mike wishing you a great Monday. Time to get back to work. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you real soon.
Awesome.
Boom. That was fun.
And yeah, Mike, was I the first person that ever said underwear? I'm sure we said like, you got to make sure you pack your underwear or something. I can hear Pam saying that.
Oh, I'm sure we've said it a bajillion times.
Yeah.
Let's see. Hang on 1 second. Why is this?
Oh, you got to do it again?
Well, we got to do the whole show again. No, just kidding. I just got to make sure I'm in the right directory so I can find it. Episode 2031.
And that was a fun show. No real topic.
And that went fast. Like, I looked down.
We were flying. Like, we were just like, yeah, it was fun. Like, I can't believe it's almost 7.
I know. It looks like it's Taco Bell for me again tonight. Mallory's at cheer. Always.
All
right. Well, hey, have a good one. And
I'll send you some text later. Okay.
Sure you will. Just give me some warning.
Yeah. Thanks. Okay. No pick messages though.
Yes, please. All right, guys.